Wait, so what were you doing on Fox Business this morning? Sorry, I didn't watch.
Just giving the weather forecast and talking about the rain. New York City, all New York City, 24/7.
Everybody, Kevin Carey, Interim President, CEO, AHLA, doing the lobbying work of our hotel association. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming to join us. Is there anything going on in your world these days?
Just a little bit, I've been paying a lot of time on Amtrak heading north to New York City over the last couple of weeks.
And there seems to be a little kerfuffle going on in New York City at the moment. New legislation they're trying to impose, which is going to affect all hotels in New York. And the fear, of course, is that it might trickle down everywhere else.
Correct. So
Little bit that I know is that it impacts third-party management, like makes that illegal, and affects sort of the franchise business model in general.
Yeah.
But I digress. I let you go. Tell me what's going on in New York at the moment.
Well, here's the headline, Teague. This is bad for everyone. This is devastating for the hotel industry in New York City. This is bad for New York City's economy. It is bad for travelers and bad for the workers. Ironically, it also would have an adverse impact on New York City's own fiscal conditions. So just about a little over 3 weeks ago, we learned that this bill was dropped in the city council without any advanced consultation or involvement from the industry. And it was put on a fast track to go to a hearing. And then ideally, in the proponent's mind, it would have been passed by August the 15th. We had to stand up a diverse coalition and raise our voices to convey the magnitude of the potential damage that this would do to the industry in New York City. And while they've slowed things down a little bit, this is still a very real and live proposal and threat to this industry.
So give me the crux of it. What does it do? What does it not do? What are they trying to accomplish? Why is it so bad for hotel owners?
So the bill proponents would tell you that this is a simple licensing bill. And isn't that something everyone can be for? That there's a small number of bad actors out there who are spoiling things for everyone. First of all, that's a false narrative. If you look at the actual facts, they're portraying New York and hotels in New York City as being overrun with crime and safety issues. The facts of the matter are, in 2023, there were 315 311 complaint line contacts targeted at the hotel industry on a base of 36.2 million room nights. So is this really where the city council and the government in New York needs to be focused? This is not a simple licensing bill. This goes in a sweeping direction and creates new mandates in terms of cost. It would require certain business models. The REIT industry could not operate in New York City under the definition and the structure of the bill that's been proposed. It would prohibit subcontracting. So the net effect of all this, Teague, is that this would be devastating for the hotel industry. It would mean hotel closures, lost jobs, and the impact on the industry and the economy is severe.
So help me. So let's pick on subcontracting. So one, not only can I not subcontract out my labor to a third party, but I can't even subcontract out with a third party management company. Is that correct?
Correct. The management company segment, this is an extinction event in New York City. The way the bill has been drafted. And again, let me emphasize, without any consultation or the voice of the industry. Saying this is just a proposal to address some bad actors and not recognizing this industry's longstanding commitment to protecting the health and safety of guests and workers. They're just rushing headlong down this path without an understanding of this industry or an appreciation of the economic damage this could do.
But I'm guessing this is all sort of a union-driven bill. It's New York. That's where it all comes. And it's mandating levels of employment and mandating levels of stuff. And therefore, we can come in and unionize all the hotels. Is that really sort of what's behind this? Or are you not allowed?
Certainly that's something that should be explored in the press and more broadly. What I can tell you in terms of the impact this is going to have on the industry, and it's not a theoretical exercise. This is not a what if scenario. Just the mere introduction of this bill has essentially ground the New York City hotel financing market to a halt. There are billions of transactions that are now with emergency brake has been pulled on those. And you know what? That's going to translate into lower real estate transfer tax revenues for New York City. So this is having an impact as we speak, not at some future date down the road.
And again, help me with some nuances. The bill, one of the things I thought I read was like minimum work hours, right? So I, the owner, am not allowed operationally to flex my employment levels based on occupancy. If I'm full, I flex up. If I'm empty, I flex down, and I'm not allowed to do that anymore. I have to maintain consistent levels. Is that true?
All of those mandates, new cost requirements, restrictions. It's clear from the meetings we've had with the bill sponsor and the staff that they don't understand this complex industry, and taking away the flexibility that the industry has to operate, to leverage its model in a very difficult environment with real pressure on owners from a profitability standpoint. Subcontracting is used on a general basis. We've got a workforce shortage problem. You've got business model considerations to balance profitability with guest safety. This bill is a direct threat, and it's pointed right at this industry, and that's why we're emphasizing the devastating consequences that this could represent for the industry in one of the largest markets in the world. And the New York hotels community is an iconic feature of this market, its culture, and its history.
And it seems to me that there's no difference between a large convention hotel like the Marriott Marquis and a small boutique 50-room hotel, right? Rules are the same.
As I said earlier, this is bad for everyone. If you're operating a select service property in the Bronx, a convention center business transient property in Midtown Manhattan, or something out of Coney Island, this is bad for everyone across the board.
And they're passing it as a license deal, right?
That's the way it's being represented and portrayed, is that you've got a few bad actors, and that the city government doesn't have the ability to shut down a bad actor hotel. So the claims they're making, really the narrative doesn't hold up. As I shared, the statistics around crime or complaints in the hotel industry in 2023, 315 out of 36 million room nights. That doesn't hold water. Number two, that the industry is unregulated. There are over 20 permits that hotels need to obtain and maintain, so they have every resource to be able to close a hotel if it's got violations. And so this notion that crime is running amok and that the hotels are unregulated just doesn't hold water.
Is that what they're saying? That crime is running amok and the hotels are unregulated and we need to regulate the hotels?
That's the justification publicly for what the discussion set is around the licensing aspects of this bill. But what we've highlighted is not only do we have concerns with that, given the justification they've put forward that we're challenging, but then it goes in a far sweeping manner and brings in all these other areas of cost mandates, of restrictions on and a de facto prohibition on REITs operating in the city, on subcontracting. So it goes in a massive way, far overreaching in these other areas.
What did I miss? Why do they not like REITs operating in their city?
Scarily, they don't understand the industry.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens when you lead with a piece of legislation without bringing in the stakeholders and having a dialogue. Certainly this industry, as you know, is hugely committed to in longstanding programs that AHLA has led around safe stay, around no room for trafficking. We just had an event, our third annual No Room for Trafficking Summit in Washington a week ago. And we made grants totaling $1 million to survivor organizations who are helping survivors of human trafficking. So to say that this industry is not a leader on these issues and neglecting to bring us into the conversation is a big problem. And,
Yeah,
and
what are
that's
the
where
other
you find yourself.
What are the other stakeholders saying? What are the brands saying about it?
Everyone is involved in this across every segment. As you know, AHLA's role is to represent every segment of the industry, from the brands to the diverse array of owner types and sizes, to the management companies, to the vendor community. Again, there's a large industry, a base of industry in New York, largely comprised of small businesses, minority and women-owned small businesses that are subcontractors to the industry. Everyone is around the table raising their voices and communicating to the council. And we also need those voices also to get to the city council speaker and to Mayor Eric Adams. And the message is abandon this misguided bill and start over.
Yeah, what problem are we trying to solve? If we start over, what would that look like? What would the bill you would introduce look like?
If there's a dialogue around licensing, certainly this industry and the legitimate players in the industry don't want bad actors out there tarnishing things for everyone. So a starting point is an actual dialogue to understand what the facts are and also to understand what the industry is doing about it today. So before you jump to a legislative solution, there should be a dialogue around understanding the fact base, but also hearing from the industry so the public policymakers and elected officials have an understanding of the industry structure and the programs, initiatives, and commitments already in place that are addressing those. The facts just don't stand with this view that crime is a problem in hotels in New York City.
Yeah, if that's the premise, I would agree. That's not the fundamental place of the problem. So who's in their ear? Who's in the ear? Who's leading the bill? And then who's in, I read her name, and then who's in her ear and who's she trying to please?
Yeah, the lead sponsor is Councilwoman Julie Menon, represents the Upper East Side of New York, I think City Council District number 5. She's advanced the legislation. She's the primary driver behind this. She's attracted a large number of co-sponsors, but we're also starting to hear that people who initially may have signed on to the bill are starting to learn a bit more about it, that they may have heard the very general and inviting nature of this being a pedestrian licensing bill. Now they're starting to learn a little bit more about it and understanding the impact it could have on their constituents, people who work for hotels, people who are subcontractors to hotels. So we're trying to bring that message not only to the bill sponsor, other members of the city council, but also to the city leadership in the mayor's office and in the city council speaker's office as well.
And again, it's a crime in hotels is a bad thing. That's the premise of it. We got to fix crime in hotels.
That's the messaging, and to immediately throw a bill out there and put it on this fast track to initially proposing that it be voted on in 2 weeks' time with this far-reaching set of other completely unrelated measures that don't demonstrate an awareness to the industry structure or an appreciation for the economic damage this would do. And again, this is not only the hotel industry. That's certainly a primary focus that we're bringing, but think about New York's tourism economy. If hotel rates start to go up higher because there's fewer new development or hotels start to close, that's going to jack rates up. Trade shows, conferences, business meetings, group events, leisure travelers, they're not going to go to New York. The people who are going to win are going to be New Jersey, Orlando, Las Vegas, where trade shows and individual travelers are going to go. The government could be pricing itself out of the market and also impacting its own financials.
Isn't there already a new development regulation that's significantly hindering new development in New York?
That's correct. That's correct. There's very little new development and new inventory coming online in New York. So you already have that embedded problem that's impacting the market as well. And New York City is a market that still hasn't returned to 2019 levels. The hotel industry is an economic engine in New York. It's responsible for nearly $5 billion in tourism-related tax revenues to the city, $53 billion in overall economic contribution, and approaching 250,000 jobs from a direct and indirect basis. Why is the city government going after this industry?
Yeah, why are they? I
That's
mean,
the question.
the cynic in me says that they got rid of Airbnb, so now they're coming with their handout saying, all right, you're welcome, now you owe us. But
Yeah,
what do I know?
we're focused on the economics and the impact and making sure this industry comes together and rallies all the segments and represents not only the impact that it'll have on this industry, but the ripple effects. Think about in the theater community, the other aspects of the travel and tourism industry, the business community, for whom hotels are where their business people come and stay when they visit New York, international travelers who come to New York. This has got such a cascading and a ripple effect set of negative consequences. That's why we've been so passionate and active in conveying the damage this will do if it advances.
Well, Kevin, listen, we appreciate all you're doing. Yeah, on behalf of AHLA, on behalf of the entire industry, we appreciate all you're doing. Somebody's got to be in charge, involved with their ear to the ground. So thank you. And thanks for coming on to kind of explain it to us, the lay people out here, what's happening.
Well, just a message. Thank you for the opportunity. Always enjoy spending time with you. And this is something the entire industry should be looking at, not just here in New York. Because you know what, these issues can jump to other markets, and if public policy makers don't understand the industry structure, they can take actions that can really impact this industry's current and future potential. So join our voice, communicate and start to educate your elected officials in your home markets about the economic impact this industry has, and so they think before they act.
Well said. And I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I'm not in New York, but yeah, if it happens there, it's going to happen elsewhere. It's going to trickle down. So,
Great.
Kevin, we appreciate it. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks so
for
much.
explaining it to us.
Great. Thank you, Teague.
All right, bye.
Bye.